Hello, guys. Good afternoon. This is High Priestess Jamila. And I want to have a brief discussion about stalkers, either individual stalkers or either gang stalkers. Now, um, I've been getting I get a lot of people contacting me about being gang stalked, people contacting me about having a stalker. Keep in mind that probably a romantic stalker is going to be very different from gang stalking conspiracy. Um, but I wanted to speak to y'all about the spiritual aspect of it as far as with surviving it. Um, and as far as understanding what's happening. A gang stalker or either a stalker is factually possessed by a spirit. And it's an example of necromancy. So, for example, if somebody wanted to get back at you or control you, or, just in general, um, necromancy has been used for the purposes of many different purposes. I'm a little confused about why somebody, if they know necromancy, why would they use it to, let's say, for example, um, if there's a life insurance policy on you and somebody wants to get paid that life insurance policy, they could hire a necromancer to send death after you. Okay. And so this would result in zombies. I call them spiritual zombies because the person is not there anymore. It's another spirit that is taken over altogether. And typically the original person has possibly lost their soul. I do a lot of soul retrieval. Um, but it's a lot more difficult if there has been, let's say, more than one person that is being afflicted than trying to retrieve. So basically, if you are being used to gang stalk somebody, this means that you've lost your soul and you're under possession. Is basically what that means. And I've seen both women and men have certain powers or know certain things about the occult to be able to pull that off. Okay. So, for example, if you're somebody that feels like you're being gang stalked and you see somebody and they're acting strange, okay, that is a person that is possessed by a bad negative spirit. This is something that for some reason um I think that people have different reasons for wanting to do that. Necromancy is a part of witchcraft, but I think that this is a gross abuse of power. I do believe that those that are conjuring spirits, making deals to contract people's souls and people's energies, I believe that these people won't last long. I don't think that these people are going to be here too much longer on this earth. And so you have to remember that about that. And the number one thing is that you can't freak out and you can't get scared of it. I wouldn't freak out and get scared of it. If a person is being used for that purpose, I suppose that you could have somewhat of empathy for them, but it depends on what the gang stalking consists of. If the gang stalking consists of smear campaigns that could potentially ruin your life, if the gang stalking is consisting of people that are trying to kill you, or in any way trying to harm you, then this can do quite a bit of psychological, emotional, and spiritual damage to a person, to cut you off from source, which is God. The main thing is that if you are showing any signs of being gang stalked, is to make sure that you are being cleansed. Also making sure that you are reversing, that you are recognizing the spirit that is in that person, sending it away, and then also um a person, there's been quite a few people that have came to me to get their souls retrieved, because I do soul retrieval also. There's a lot of people that have lost their soul. Without your soul, this is going to make it easier for a spirit. It could be an tranquil spirit. It could be a stupid spirit. I've seen people that are very, very intelligent people, and the next thing you know, they're just totally dumbfounded. They just kind of lose their mind. This is also, in my humble opinion, what is happening with Alzheimer's patients. Um, Gang stalking with an intent to, irritate a person or control a person. Um, that particular gang stalking can easily be remedied by, telling the spirit to go, okay, out of the person. The spirit has to go. If you are somebody that is gang stalking somebody, you're possessed. You don't even realize that you're possessed. You're under possession. Okay, but see, it's very difficult because some people are very crafty. And I know a couple of people throughout my life. I have known a couple of people that have had the power to possess people. They've known how to do it. And it is the result of possession, and it's a deliberate possession. It's possession that is being done deliberately to a person so that they can harass or stalk another person. Yes, it is sacrifice, because you are sacrificing the life of that person. Because instead of that person living their life, they're gang stalking somebody. Instead of that person living their life, or, they pretty much lost their life. Again, I think it depends on your relationship with the Most High as to if that is going to happen to you and the disastrous effects of it can create a lot of disaster in the life of the person being used to gang stalk another individual. Is it meant to destroy you? Yeah, but it doesn't have to. I've been getting gang stalked for 6 years straight. Things being said, things being done to trigger me, an emotional response. And the paradigm has shifted totally when it comes to that. Um, when you think about spiritual possession, what word can I what movie reference can I give to y'all to make y'all understand what's going on with that? Poltergeist, when the husband drank the worm of unblessed wine or liquor, he became possessed temporarily by a demon. Another one is American Horror Story Coven. It was made for TV, but Marie Laveau, which they totally demonized her um, on that show. But when the zombies had rose out of the ground, but the only difference is that these spirits don't come back physically. Their spirits can be um, resurrected, or either their spirits can be conjured so that they can possess the body of another. Okay. So this is something that is rarely being talked about, um, because of these so-called secret societies and stuff like that. But there is no secrets anymore. It's not a secret. It's pretty much out in the open. Pretty much all of the information is out there. There's meditation frequencies that you can listen to get your consciousness back, to get your soul back. But I think that those frequencies, you know, you got to be careful with them. You got to understand that it was spiritual work that was done. And then also, there are some people that will, have an intent. They'll be very murderous, and they'll have an intent to hurt you, harm you, destroy you. And, with puppet magic and stuff like that. So, knowing about witchcraft and understanding it so that you can defend yourself from it is really important. Not getting involved with people that do that kind of dirty magic, because I'm telling you, they're not anybody doing things like that to try to target or harm another person. It's not worth it. That's all I can say, is that it's not worth it. And so what you have to do is you have to do your protection. You have to do your reversals. You have to do them. You have to do banishings. You have to do warding. Nobody that doesn't know about the basics of witchcraft, people that are afraid to perform defensive magic, are going to be in an extremely um, unfortunate position in this world that we live in. People can go around and say, I hate witches, I hate witchcraft, I hate this, I hate this. But it's the veil has been lifted on that. It's unfortunate. It's not unfortunately, it's unfortunate people that use it to hurt people. But you have to deal with it. Wasting your time doing petty things that don't serve your purpose is not advisable either. Just doing petty witchcraft on people and all that stuff is not advised either. You have to be responsible. A lot of people that were not responsible with their magic, it ain't good for them. It's not looking good for them. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I've been getting phone calls from people that have been dealing with spirits, and then also dealing with being gang stalked. Gang stalking is not necessarily a government operation. It's a spiritual thing. It's spiritual. It's purely spiritual. Okay. It's necromancy. It's pretty much what it is, necromancy. And especially if you live in America with so many people that hate this country. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't save everybody, but you can definitely be responsible for yourself and your family. You know, necromancy can be used for many different good purposes as well. It has its good points to it, but when you're using it to control the life of another, that's when spirit is going to step in and go, okay, yeah, you need to cut it out. Okay. If you guys are being gang stalked, um, in particular, The ones that are doing it can typically be your family members or the ones that are responsible for it. But it can also be other groups of people that could be responsible. You have to know how to defend yourself against necromancy. Okay, you have to learn necromancy in order to be able to beat it. Because that's exactly what they're using. Because you look at these people and you go, what in the world? Hey, Heather. You notice how you look at the people and they just appear to be zombies and spaced out, and it's like it's not even a person there. It's just somebody that is totally devoid of what they're doing. They have no thought process. They are just because when you practice necromancy, you're controlling a spirit that's controlling another person, and you're telling the spirit what to do. Right. The eyes will be glazed over, the person will be acting strange. They'll it's a lot of different signs of that. And so if people care about if you're somebody that people care about, people are going to say something to you like, what is going on with you? You're very strange. You're acting very strange. You're not even the same person. Somebody's going to speak up to you and say, but a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people that were under possession by negative spirits and nobody ever said anything to them. And hold on, guys. It's one of the reasons why Jesus Christ said to kind of stall people out. You know what I'm saying? Don't be so quick to, because you just never know what that person could be dealing with or going with. The best thing to do is to educate yourself on what you're dealing with. That way the life of that person that is the zombie, the spiritual zombie, doesn't have to be wasted. That's why Jesus said to forgive your enemies or be kind to your enemies. Yeah, having an understanding of this is very important. Autopilot. They repeat things over and over again. It's like they're not there. It's like they're stuck on one thing. I'm going to tell you the way that you remedy it when you're dealing with a person is to get them in the bathtub. If you're able to do that, if people will agree to get into the bathtub so that they can clear themselves. And basically, really what it takes is cleansing of yourself and cleansing of the other people. People do it for all sorts of purposes. I know it was being done to me for the dumbest reason. It was like, oh my God, like, and that's pretty much what's happening. Yeah. Well, narcissistic people are under possession. They're under possession. Okay. That's what you have to remember about narcissistic people. There is no labeling a person a narcissist. Narcissistic people have lost their soul completely. They have. And like I said, soul retrieval is something that is able to be done. You can retrieve your soul. You can actually get your soul back, but you have to be aware of it. Like, that's the whole point. A person is unaware. They're unaware of their behavior. Some people wake up in jail. And how the hell did I get here? They wake up, among it all kinds of, and you know what? When you are a blessed and highly favored person, or if you just have that connection, this is the reason why we got all this stuff going on around here related to the crown chakra. It's very important for you to pay attention. It has nothing to do with how much hair you have on your head. It doesn't. It's all about what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what your actions are thereafter. So yeah, narcissistic people, they're just, yeah, they're just under possession. That's it. And the medical, the psych, the world of psychology, they can't really explain it um the way a spiritualist can explain it. I've dealt with narcissistic people. They're absolutely under some kind of possession. And sometimes your soul will have to come back to you in pieces. So that's how you see people that go through certain things and they'll say, I'm trying to pick up the pieces of my life. Now, the problem is that society will judge the person for their actions, which we're not supposed to do. It says it in the Bible. Okay, it does. It says that because sometimes people may do strange things, and literally, I don't know if y'all saw the newest installment of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Literally, that's what we're dealing with. We are dealing, but it's not the devil, it's negative spirits, it's bad spirits that people will conjure based upon pettiness, greed, envy, for whatever reason. Okay. And so, I know I have it on good authority to know that people that were under possession can absolutely get their soul back. But I feel like if you have been through that, then you have to ask yourself, what was the gateway? What was it that allowed my mind and my heart to be weak to that spirit? You know what I'm saying? To that negative spirit to take over, because nobody, like, it's totally not the truth that the devil can take your soul and never give it back. That's not true. Now I do know that people do sell their soul, but you can actually buy it back. So people have to remember that if there is a devil or Satan, that God had to create. God created everything, right? So if you have a good relationship with God, then he's going to move mountains for you. Okay. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? The narcissist did it to me and all the females he dealt with, so they do what he wanted them to. Yeah, well, again, that's called spiritual possession. He's a zombie. Narcissistic people, when they are full blown narc, they are zombies. They are totally subservient to that negative spirit that hovers over them. And you know what kills that spirit, those negative spirits, is water. Okay, that's why when you see people that are, people that don't bathe, people that are very dirty, they have a really bad spirit. It's really bad for them. So, taking spiritual baths, because these herbs really do have the power to actually exercise the body of those spirits. Sometimes the soul is still there, but it's being suppressed or repressed by that bad spirit. So it makes people do foul things. And you do have to learn forgiveness, especially if that person has sought out help. Now, if somebody is placing you under possession, then you do have to do something to bind that person. If you know that a person is placing you under possession, you have to do that, because it's a spiritual thing. It's not some government conspiracy. That's not what it is. I mean, the government, they can be possessed too. Government workers, government officials can be placed under possession. Okay, very easily. But there's help for you. It's not like you give up on life. It's kind of like If you feel that your life is worth it, you're going to seek the proper help. But what they, what the field of psychology has sort of done is they have deemed people being gang stalked as being the crazy ones. But we know that you ain't crazy, especially when they doing it right in front of you out in the open. Okay. And it can be your brother, it can be your cousin, it can be your mother, it can be your father, it can be anybody. So the witches or the occultists, we're not the bad guys unless you are an evil witch doing work like that. Yeah. Have you healed since then, Egg? Because that can, oh yeah, it can, oh man. The kind of stuff that they do, and it depends on who you are, and yeah, you like you can't really go along with it. You have to know that what that demon is telling you is a lie. Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Good, good. Are you helping others with their issues? Do you? Maybe I'll have you come on the panel. This is just an introductory conversation about it, about what I was, because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about gang stalking, and I was thinking about, how necromancy can affect people. Throughout the years, it's kind of difficult for me to tell my story. I'm gonna have to write it in a book, you know. But I've seen families of people under possession. I've seen an entire family, I've seen an entire room full of people just under possession because of necromancy. Yeah. Yeah, it's a total trip. It's almost like it's like an alternative reality that can be created because people are doing strange things that don't even make sense. And because whenever you say, wait a minute, that just doesn't make any sense, then it's something that's demonic. um so and like I said, nobody has to die. Like when we think about zombies, how when it comes to like zombie movies, somebody always, you have to shoot the zombie in the head or burn it or chop it up or something. That's not the way to deal with it, because and honestly, if somebody dies while under possession, you have to do certain things spiritually to put those spirits back where they belong. The Matrix. Yep. Yep. And I stopped being afraid of it years ago. Like, I've seen it over and over again. I've seen it happen over and over again. And then I was able to figure out, who was the one that did it, because some people do. And it's all about revenge and envy and control and power. And you know I am a self-proclaimed witch, but I do believe in God. In fact, I don't understand people that claim that witches don't believe in God. Witches have a very, very strong belief in God, and spirits. So it's kind of mixed up, isn't it? It's kind of mixed up. It's kind of confusing. It's meant for you to use your intuition about it. Okay. And if you're being gang stalked, the best thing for you is to be cleansed, because what cleanses will do is they will free the mind and the body. But the problem will still be there, especially if you're being targeted by an evil witch, which usually evil witches, they hide in the church. Yes, they do. Amen. Yes, they do. They hide in the church. They go there, they say, "Oh, Jesus, Lord," but they go home and they conjure all kind of spirits so that they can do all kind of evil stuff. I trust a witch that's out in the open that is like a green witch or a hedge witch or before I trust, that all the time. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have no issues with Jesus Christ at all. So, I love Jesus and I'm a polytheist. I love all deities, you know what I'm saying, and what they do. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Anunnaki, Amen Ra. Hello. It does tend to make you feel very weary when you're going through that. But then, like, I felt like because you just get tired, your mind gets tired, your body gets tired, but then you rise from those ashes. You should be able to. I know that for me, having the responsibility of being a mom, and not just a mom to my children, but a mother to myself, but some people will stay down. They'll be very depressed, they'll be very paranoid, and you don't have to live your life like that. So, and it's there, it's definitely there, and it's something that is kind of like sight unseen. But I'm not saying that necromancy is not like I love necromancy. Because it is a connection with the spirits, and but when you use it and you abuse that power and you don't have a good reason to, then those spirits will come back to you. Those spirit, so for me, I'm one of them type of people to where I'm just not going to do anything, everything, because especially if you're in your lower self when you're doing things, you know what I'm saying? For me, it was all about helping the earth, preserving the old ways, creating a healing atmosphere for people. Um, and things will get better, but you just have to, like a lot of people are just totally in denial about it. They don't want to. And a lot of the times that's a part of the magic. That's a part of it, is subduing a person to where they can't think, to where they can't really, make out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, everybody should be the master of their own life. Okay. Nobody should be controlled in that way. Nobody. And you don't have to be. You don't have to necessarily be scared, but just do the work that's required and you'll be okay. And, sometimes it gets crazy because you'll sit back and you'll be doing all this work to where you're calm, and God needs for us to be calm. God needs his soldiers to be calm, because when the shit hits the fan, we have to be the ones that know how to remain calm and have an understanding while everybody else is acting crazy, like just crazy. You knowing that will, lower your level of fear around it. Okay. So, yeah, this Halloween is going to be a trip. It's going to be a trip, but it's also going to be a lot of fun, though. You have to, you know what? There's two roads that you can take in life. One is to misery and self destruction, and the other one is self mastering and fulfillment. Okay. So you don't have to necessarily take the road of, oh, these people are gang stalking me. My family turned against me. I hate my life. I want to. No. You have to understand that this too shall pass also. And we're kind of like in the in between. Okay. And it's already gotten worse. Like, we've seen the worst, is what I can tell you. I believe we've seen the worst, especially with everything going on with this pandemic and everything. So You blew up on them last night. Yeah. Well, forgive yourself. Take yourself a nice, relaxing bath. Dunk your head under the water because that's how when you think about it, that's the main aspect of when you look at necromancy. That's how the magic is happening. That's how that dark magic is happening is through the crown chakra, through your consciousness, through your subconsciousness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Well, and you know what? If you're spiritually gifted, it's important to to understand. I think that we all, especially if you were born of a woman and not like a clone or whatever, I think we all have those abilities to some extent, which is called discernment. For example, if you're thinking thoughts that you know that it ain't yours, and you able to check yourself on that and go, what the heck? Then that's discernment because you know yourself. You're like, wait a minute, why would I even think about something like that? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and when I look around and I look at people that are just lost, it is scary. It is it's very scary. But when you go out into the world, having that armor around you is so important, especially if you're empathic. If you're an empath, then you're more than likely a healer. I believe that most empaths are healers as well because I believe but a lot of that has been oppressed and suppressed. So, you know, you can absolutely heal yourself. You just gotta, the way that I do it, I believe that it works because it worked for me. Um, having all these cruel things being done to me, cruel things being said to me. Um, it's really so horrifying, but you got to be able to see the silver lining and you have to know that God does exist. And a lot of people say, well, why would God allow this to happen? That's the first thing people say. Why would God allow this to happen? You know what? I don't know. I don't have the answers for everything, but I think that God is also giving you the knowledge and the love in your heart for you to say, you know what? I'm not going to let this experience change me. I'm not going to let this these bad spirits get to me. I'm going to get them out. I'm going to purge myself of all this stuff. And I'm going to tell y'all, water is the key. Drinking water, bathing, spiritual bathing is key. Okay. It is. It's key in it is the spiritual bathing. But then also the candle work. Okay. The ritual work, the actually, so just getting in the bath will help you a lot. But I think that when these spirits are settling, when they are squatting inside of you, somebody has to exercise that out of you. And if people are not educated enough on the subject, the Egyptians had a lot of knowledge about that, the ancient Egyptians, as well as the ancient Mayans, and then also the Aztecs, and then the Native Americans. But a lot of that stuff has been lost. You know what I'm saying? And so they're bringing it back. They're bringing it back because those rituals that those men and women were doing, they worked. They work to get people back to where they should be. You know what I'm saying? So, hmm yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. So, um, I just wanted to come by and speak to y'all about that real quick because I've been getting phone calls about gang stalking. And I can tell you that you shouldn't even get like after a while. I'm a veteran on the whole gang stalking situation, so I know a lot about it. The main thing is all about discernment. They'll make you feel like you're a piece of crap, not worth anything. And so you can't believe it. It's almost like playing the dirty dozen. Somebody, but I think that the fact that it does actually bother people means that there's spirits running through you. So the fact that you may believe some of the things that they say to you, or you may, be sensitive to it. You know what I'm saying? That means that work is being done directly on you so that you can accept the lies, so that you can accept, not knowing self. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You got to handle it. You got to handle it. And like I said, it could be, there's some people that do have that ability of necromancy to use it in that way. I know that I can tell you that I practice very ethically. I'm not going to send a bad spirit out so that people will have to come to me, because trust me, there's enough bad spirits out there. Okay. hmm You can't isolate yourself either. You can't give up on love. You can't isolate yourself. You just don't do stuff like that, because then you're giving them what they want. I actually had a client a few years ago whose boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, his grandmother was a necromancer. Lord have mercy. Tried to screw my client's life up. She was all of a sudden being stalked and harassed, and she was like, I don't know what has happened to my life. And pretty much what it is it's a process of putting those spirits back where they belong. hmm That's mainly why people do that aspect of it, which is a very, very, very dark aspect of necromancy. Um, they do it for revenge, for whatever reason. The people have many, many different reasons of doing stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, and you got to understand that people that do stuff like that, they're going to be judged. They gonna have to be. They don't get to just roam free and do whatever they want to do. But yeah, this my client's her ex-boyfriend, she wasn't even with him but for like maybe a year. And right after they broke up, probably like maybe within a couple of months, she started to get, gang stalked and harassed, and then he was stalking her too, and it was just weird occurrences all the time. hmm And it's all about control and power sometimes, but sometimes it's also about sacrificing you. So be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? And so some of the things that, well, first of all, I had to get her in for a cleanse. And then it wasn't a reversal per se that was needed. It's not about it being a reversal when you're dealing with a gang stalking situation. It's more so of putting those spirits back where they belong, and then binding the person. Unfortunately, sometimes when people that practice necromancy like that, they are at extreme risk of death and sickness. So they put themselves at risk. So, like I said, I haven't talked to the client in a while, but I can imagine she'll be calling me for an update probably soon. She typically contacts me for, with updates as far as what's going on with her. In fact, I probably need to call her and check on her. Well, I'm sure she's doing fine. This is going to be happening a lot, especially coming up next month during the month of October, November, as well as December. There is going to be a lot of issues with that, and people that didn't want to listen when somebody told them, hey, don't you think you're acting kind of strange here? Like, this is strange, so they going people are gonna have to listen, because I believe that judgment day is coming for real. So that's just what that is. And it is what it is. Keep your hands clean, keep your heart clean for real, is what I always suggest to, you know, uh especially the witches that I teach, that I have under my apprenticeship. You don't never want to abuse your magical power, because it's not, people get frustrated with it, because just because you're mad at somebody doesn't mean that you can just do that and just kind of screw up their life and screw them up for generations. And you gotta think twice before you do things like that. So you know hmm yeah, September, October, November, and December of last year was a entire trip. um a lot of people was under possession, but the field of psychology calls it psychosis. It's actually possession. Okay. So that's the beginning of the discussion. I'm gonna go now, because I'm hungry. I need to get me something to eat on. I will see y'all later for some readings, or either maybe we'll get deeper into it. But a lot of it you can't really, because it's really a very private thing. It really is. You know what I'm saying? So um a lot of the stuff that people are experiencing, you're not crazy, but you're being told that you're crazy, but you're actually not crazy. But the problem is that you don't we're not really taught to get down to the root of the problem. We're taught to handle things on a surface level. You're welcome, Egg. You're welcome. Oh, look at that cat. Why should I care about what haters think about me? Well, and see, that goes along with the gang stalking, Ziana. Hey, Lightbringer. Sometimes work, like I said, is being directly done on you so that you can care. But when you think about it, why should you care about a person's opinion that doesn't really matter? But then they do matter, because people will be under mind control. So they will at the same time, perform certain things against you so that you will believe it. And why do you think that so many people that were gang stalked, they committed suicide? So a lot of people I'm not saying that they couldn't handle it, but I know how bad it can get. It can get really bad. Okay, when you're being spiritually stalked like that and having people do work on you, and people have done that. People have been killed. People have committed suicide. People have done all kinds of crazy stuff. That's one of the reasons why I had relocated over here to Georgia, because some spirits kind of pulled me over here, because there was certain stuff that needed to be done. You know what I'm saying? As far as with, and I'm talking about Nancy Schaefer. If you see what happened to her, it was a murder suicide, but it was actually witchcraft. And I've thought about doing a reading on that to see what happened to Nancy and her husband. Y'all don't know who she is. Oh yeah, yeah. That's necromancy. They will take the babies. They will take your babies. Mm-hmm. Is that Ogun? That looks like Ogun. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna go. Yeah, necromancy itself, it's not like necromancy, like whenever you a lot of people say, oh, that necromancy is bad, but necromancy is actually a good thing. It's just that it can be used for evil intent. So if you are somebody that knows about necromancy, or even if you have a natural gift or ability of doing that, you don't necessarily have to use that for evil. Because really, to be honest with you, it's supposed to be used for good. It is. It's supposed to be used for good. So, you know what I'm saying? But everything has its dark side, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? There's a dark side to everything. So, all right, y'all. I will see y'all a little bit later. Y'all have a happy Tuesday. Okay. Make sure y'all subscribe. Ziana, that's a good question. We'll pin cushion it and we'll come back to that question later. Okay. I'll actually answer that question for you a little bit later this evening. Okay. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Peace and love. Bye bye.